Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Mm-hmm. Boy, oh boy, did Matt Gaetz set the internet on fire with that line right there. Be offended, right? Be offended, okay? Because all too often we have people on the right side of the aisle apologizing for opinions that offend certain people who claim to be victims, right? They claim to be marginalized, okay? And it's about time that we stop apologizing and just tell people, be offended, right? Be offended, okay? And this video right here from Dr. Rashad Richey of TYT, the failing progressive news network, really is the definition of be offended. This is exactly what Matt Gaetz was going for in regards to how he wanted people to react to him basically calling the pro-choice protesters, right, the extremists that have been trying to overthrow the Supreme Court, right, destroy the Supreme Court. He called those extremist women ugly, right, said that they're too ugly to get pregnant anyways. So he doesn't understand why they even care about this issue, okay? Which is something that, you know, hey, a lot of people have alluded to, that a lot of these women that are protesting in favor of Roe v. Wade, you know, hey, it's hard to see why they feel so emotionally connected to this issue because, yeah, I'm not sure they're the demographic of women that are going to be having this problem, right? But, you know, hey, Matt Gaetz said the quiet part out loud and it offended this guy. And I want to react to Rashad Richey's meltdown over this. And I want to say before I get into this, there's a very, very, very strong possibility that this video won't be fully monetized because of some of the subjects that this guy is discussing in this video. Okay, so that being said, I put a whole lot of work into this video and I truly, truly did enjoy it. If you guys want to support, you can do so using the links in the description below. Just a reminder. But this guy is a very interesting character to me, okay? Because he has a PhD. He is very credentialed, okay? The dude is obviously not an idiot, but for whatever reason, despite having a PhD, he is working for a failing progressive news network, TYT. I'm assuming TYT owns his channel, right? They're doing everything for him. And he's basically relegated himself to reacting to silly videos on the internet, right? Which is basically the same thing that I do to a certain extent. But I at least try to keep most of my content, right, at least somewhat informative, okay, somewhat educational. Obviously, there's low-hanging fruit out there that, you know, everybody goes after, okay? But this guy, a large majority of his content is low-hanging fruit about Karens in the wild, right? Which, again, I find to be fascinating how a PhD relegates himself to reacting to Karen videos, mainly videos of white people acting up in public, right? Again, it really blows my mind, okay? All the potential that this guy has, but he's decided to work for TYT and react to silly videos on the internet, like me, right? But hey, I don't have a PhD. I just have a bachelor's degree, right? So I'm just saying, this guy's an interesting character. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into his meltdown over Matt Gaetz calling pro-choice women too ugly to get laid.
You know, Matt Gaetz, United States Congressman, under investigation for paying a minor for sex and traveling over state lines, possibly doing cocaine.
Allegedly. Don't forget to throw that in there, doctor. I know you think that Matt Gaetz is guilty until proven innocent, but like you said, he's under investigation. Nothing has really come of that investigation yet, so you might not want to get ahead of yourself on this, okay? It might be smart to just throw allegedly in there, okay, before you just assume that the guy is guilty, which we all know that that's what they're assuming, that he's guilty.
So says the man who supposedly pays for sex. Okay?
He's also currently
currently under a DOJ investigation for sex trafficking a 17-year-old, yet he still has speaking gigs. Like, we've seen people do so much less that can't do crap, and this guy's still running around like nothing's happening.
A few moments later.
Okay, real quick, legal note, Congressman Matt Gaetz has not been charged with any crimes and has denied any wrongdoing.
But again, I really don't know what that has to do with Matt Gaetz' comments, but let's keep going.
Okay, so he said that the women who complain about having choice in America are too ugly to get pregnant anyway. Here it is.
Have you watched these pro-abortion, pro-murder rallies? The people are just disgusting. Like, why is it that the women with the least likelihood of getting pregnant are the ones most worried about having abortions? Nobody wants to impregnate you if you look like a thumb. These people are odious on the inside and out. They're like 5'2", 350 pounds, and they're like, give me my abortions or I'll get up and march and protest. And I'm thinking, march? You look like you got ankles weaker than the legal reasoning behind Roe versus Wade. A few of them need to get up and march. They need to get up and march for like an hour a day, swing those arms, get the blood pumping, maybe mix in a salad.
Matt Gaetz has gone full cocaine and white privilege.
Bruh, this dude is so offended. He's so offended. Or maybe he's not, honestly. Maybe he's acting this way. Maybe he's putting on a show for his audience, okay? Because I found what Matt Gaetz said to be funny, right? Funny for multiple reasons, because there is some truth to it, right? I mean, if you look at the women that have been protested in favor of Roe v. Wade, yeah, they don't look all that desirable, at least to me. But who knows? Maybe to the doctor here, the good doctor, maybe they are desirable to him, okay? But again, he's gonna go into full simp mode here, right? This is what simps do, right? Oh my God, Matt Gaetz made jokes about women, pro-choice women and their looks. So I'm gonna white knight for them, right? And come out here and simp and defend them by attacking Matt Gaetz on everything that has nothing to do with his actual position, right? What he actually was talking about, okay? And I find it funny how, again, this guy keeps bringing up cocaine, right? He said cocaine and white privilege. He's going full cocaine and white privilege. I wonder, has this guy talked about Hunter Biden, right? It was also under investigation. The answer to that question is no, right? This guy hasn't talked about Hunter Biden at all and what's going on there on his channel. But for whatever reason, he's concerned about cocaine and white privilege, right? He's concerned about that so much. But he has not addressed the Hunter Biden situation, a situation that, in my opinion, is much more important than whatever's going on with Matt Gaetz. Because Hunter Biden, it seems like he was selling influence or access to the vice president, Joe Biden, to foreign entities, okay? Which, again, could mean that there's a conflict of interest going on between the president and some of these foreign countries, right? It could be a national security issue. It's something that we should be talking about. It's something that he should be talking about. But apparently he doesn't feel the need to talk about it. Apparently that's not a real news story to him, okay, for whatever reason. But at the same time, when he's talking about Matt Gaetz, he can't help but to keep talking about, you know, cocaine and white privilege for whatever reason. But he won't talk about Hunter Biden, right? Again, I wonder why. To my credit, I've actually talked about Matt Gaetz' situation. When the allegations first came out, I actually made a video about it. And I said that, you know, hey, I think he's innocent until proven guilty, right? Just like I think that Hunter Biden is innocent until proven guilty. However, with Hunter Biden, there's overwhelming evidence, right? There's overwhelming evidence, okay? Unlike with Matt Gaetz, right? We have things from Hunter Biden where there's no doubt, okay, that he has participated in a whole lot of cocaine and white privilege. And when I say white privilege, I really mean presidential kid privilege, right? Or elitist privilege, right? Elitist privilege is what it really is, okay? So much elitist privilege that this guy can get away, openly get away with committing crimes that his dad worked to implement laws to stop people from committing.
If you have a piece of crack cocaine no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand, 1/4 of $1, we passed a law through the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says if you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years. You get no probation. You get nothing other than 5 years in jail. Judge doesn't have a choice. Now, the fact of the matter is, we've gone from this.
If white privilege is a thing, Hunter Biden is the definition of that. But again, Rashad Richey doesn't seem to be concerned about that white privilege.
It's over, it's done. It's no helping him. He's going to the pokey. All right, I'm just waiting for that indictment day, countdown. So
you might be waiting for a long time. You're gonna get the Hunter Biden indictment before you get the Matt Gaetz or Trump indictment that these people are so desperately waiting for. Right? Again, it blows my mind how they have nothing to say about the people on their side that are currently under investigation for stuff. Okay. Again, it's really funny how that works.
So this individual, Matt Gaetz, who has become increasingly more ridiculous by the moment. He hangs out with Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's talking about bringing back Donald Trump through ridiculous schemes that won't even work.
Well, how do you know that? How do you know that? Because Matt Gaetz is talking about bringing back Trump through making him the Speaker of the House. And it is a fact that if the Republicans win the majority in the House, which it looks like they will, they can in fact bring back Trump. Take a look.
Posted by Fox News contributor Leo Terrell. He wrote, President Trump, I've done some legal research. The Speaker of the House does not have to be a member of Congress. Therefore, when the Republicans take over the House in November 2022, you should become Speaker. And this is not the first time we've heard this claim. In October, a Verify viewer named Alvin asked us the same question. So let's verify, can a non-House member, like President Trump, become Speaker of the House? Here are sources. Online resources from the Office of the Historian and the Clerk of the House. This report from the Congressional Research Service. And Casey Burgat from the George Washington University. We also looked to Article 1, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution. And let's start there. The line in question reads as follows. The House of Representatives shall choose their Speaker and other officers. It says nothing about whether the Speaker needs to be a member of the House.
It literally could be anybody.
Our GW expert tells us that the Speaker has always been a House member, but it doesn't have to be. In fact, there have been protest votes before for people like Joe Biden, Colin Powell, Stacey Abrams, and many others.
This has never been tested to the point where someone has won that nomination where then we have to have this debate. But as it stands right now, because it hasn't been disproven, then the House will choose its own Speaker and other officers. A baby's on the table, former President Trump's on the table, potentially a non-citizen themselves is on the table. It's the Wild West.
So we could verify that yes, a non-House member can be named House Speaker, whether it's Donald Trump, Barack Obama, you, me, or anyone else. Although historically, it always has been a member of the House. Reporting here at the Capitol, this is Evan Kozloff with your Verify.
So, I mean, if the Republicans actually want to do it and Trump would accept it, it can 100% work. Now, do we know if Trump will actually accept it? He's indicated that he's not really interested in being Speaker of the House. But, I mean, to say that it wouldn't work, I mean, I think it's kind of ridiculous considering how if Trump actually really wanted to be Speaker of the House, I think that the Republicans would be very much pressured to do so, right? And I think that he actually would become Speaker of the House if he wanted to.
Yes, that Matt Gaetz has decided to take his platform, the trust that people place into him as a member of the United States Congress, and he criticizes the weight of women, the looks of women, to land a political point that's really antithetical to women. And
okay, so is he not allowed to make jokes about women, right? Are we saying that you can't make jokes now? Are we trying to ban jokes? Or are you saying that he should be held to a higher standard as an elected official? Because if you're saying that he should be held to a higher standard as an elected official, then hey, there may be some points of agreement here, okay? So if you can agree that this is wrong, then you must also agree that the twerking black woman senator out in Rhode Island, right, who was twerking on the beach, right, for votes, you can agree that that's inappropriate. And that is degrading to women. And that's a setback for women. Do you agree with that, Doctor?
Very thankful, by the way, for her legislative leadership. And honestly, I'm thankful for the twerk video, to be frank with you. All right, AB, thoughts here?
I'm here for it. Make it clap, Mac. Go ahead. I loved it. I'm totally here for it. I think that, look, controversy sells, sex sells, and in this genre, this area, you got to do what you got to do to get people to pay attention, okay?
Yeah, he's all here for it, right? Typical, predictable simp response, okay? So I want you guys to understand, they're here for Make It Clap Mac, right? They're here for her, a senator twerking on the beach, okay, degrading herself, not necessarily putting out a good look for a senator, especially not for black women who claim to be overly sexualized in our society, right? They're totally here for it, right? Sex sells. Do what you got to do to get attention. But Matt Gaetz making jokes about pro-choice women, right, and how he's not attracted to them, that's totally out of bounds, right? That's totally out of bounds. Again, look, here's the thing, man. If I had to choose one, right, well, I'd rather have a Congress person that makes jokes, right, about women or that twerks on the beach. I think I'd much rather have a congressperson that makes jokes, okay? Even if you don't feel like Matt Gaetz' jokes were in good taste, which, again, I could understand why you would feel that way. I would much rather have that, right, deal with jokes than twerking on the beach, right? And also the fact that Tara Mack is pushing legislation that, is going to indoctrinate children in schools. She's all for that type of stuff, which is something that this guy allegedly appreciates, right? He allegedly appreciates that. Again, typical simp behavior here.
He gets a round of applause. You see, Matt Gaetz, he's a problem, but he's not the problem. He's a manifestation of the problem. The problem are those that celebrate him, those that will continue to vote for him, those that will continue to fund him, those that will continue to produce the Matt Gaetz of the world.
AKA those that I politically disagree with, right? The people I politically disagree with, they're a problem, right? They're a problem, okay? But a woman, a member of a state Congress that twerks on the beach, pushing legislation to indoctrinate kids, not a problem. The standards of these people really blows my mind.
There's an audience now. You have members of Congress even contemplating eliminating this protection for interracial marriage in the United States. They want this to be a state right again. We're going backwards.
Who said that, bro? Who said that? Who's trying to eliminate interracial marriage? I don't think anybody said that. That's something you extrapolated from Clarence Thomas' opinion, which basically is the equivalent of a blog, right? In response to Roe v. Wade being overturned.
Have a plan. This is part of their strategy of making America great again, while only white men get to be in charge. Women, regardless of race, they take a back seat. And this kind of toxic masculinity permeates and becomes normative in the culture again. We have done too much work.
I'm telling you, simp, right? Simp behavior here, okay? Listen, this man claims he cares about women so much, but I wonder what he thought about Leah Thomas. Leah Thomas dominating women and taking away their spots in sports and athletics. Oh, wait, we don't know what he thinks about it because he never did a video about it, right? He never talked about it. A national news event, this guy just completely avoids the subject. Well, why is that? Because he knows that it's wrong, but he doesn't have the cojones to stand up to his progressive audience and tell them that this is wrong. Because otherwise, if he supported it, he would do a video saying that this is ridiculous. This person should better compete against biological women, right? Men should better compete against biological women in sports. But for whatever reason, he doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to say anything about it, right? But he wants to talk about women's rights, though. How much he loves women. You don't love them enough to call out biological men competing against them in sports. In some cases, women getting their heads cracked open, right? Because they're competing against biological men in sports, specifically when it comes to MMA. Doesn't have anything to say about it. Silent. But he wants to lecture us on women's rights. Yeah, these people are hilarious.
We have done too much work to become a people of diverse backgrounds. When that Constitution was written, that Constitution was not written for me and for most of you who are watching my show. So let's be very clear about what they're trying to do. All right, Jackson, thoughts on this?
All right, nobody wants to hear this Sean King lookalike. Yeah, again, this guy, he really is an interesting character in my opinion. Okay, he's going after Matt Gaetz for all types of things, just because he made jokes about women, right? And this is exactly what Matt Gaetz was talking about when he said be offended, right? Be offended in a video, right? Is what you just saw there from Rashad Richey. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.